The Super Bowl is unlike any other professional sports championship in America. There's no 7-game series, no home field, and no margin for error. We know the legend of the past half-century of Super Bowls. We can easily recall moments like John Elway's helicopter or David Tyree's sticky helmet.
Are we not saying phrasing anymore?
We remember the great single-game performances, Steve Young's 6 touchdown passes, and the great finishes that are etched in our minds. Wide right, anyone? But this video isn't about the games we know or the plays we remember. This video is about the unbelievable Super Bowl facts and weird that happened in the big game you've probably never heard of. And all of that bizarre, twisted information is coming up right after this. I suck at a lot of things. I know I can't sing. I want it that way. And I'm terrible at social interaction.
How do you do, fellow kids?
But what I'm really bad at is managing my groceries. I'm in the store literally every night looking for something to make for dinner. Thankfully, there is a kick-ass solution for all of this. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and prepping and can help workaholics like me get dinner on the table in 30, even 20 minutes, starting at just $5.66 per serving. I don't need to be in the aisles every night. I can have delicious, economical meals sent right to my front doorstep. Everything comes pre-portioned in recyclable packaging. Look at me serve this delicious family-friendly recipe. And managing everything is so easy through the website. You're in control. Pick your delivery days, food preferences, and add on extras. So after this video, head on over to HelloFresh.com. Use my code 5points10 and get 10 free meals and free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com, code 5points10 for 10 free meals and free shipping. They can't do anything about your singing though. I want it that way. HelloFresh.com, America's #1 meal kit. Number 10, tough luck. What's eating Gail Gilbert? Probably the fact that he appeared in 5 straight Super Bowls and lost them all. The Cal Berkeley product served as a backup quarterback for the Bills in their 4 straight Super Bowl losses from 1990 to 1993, and as if that wasn't enough, Gilbert joined the San Diego Chargers the year they got Steve Young'd in 1994, the only time they have ever made it. Not only is Gilbert the only player in history to lose 5 consecutive Super Bowls, he's the only player to appear in 5 straight Super Bowls. That sucks, right? Well, if it makes you feel any better for him, he also lost the Little League World Series in 1974. Number 9, clean laundry. The only teams wearing a solid color to win in the last 16 big games were Philadelphia and Green Bay, but that's because green is the color of money and they're so money they don't even know it. But ever since the Patriots defeated the Panthers in Super Bowl 38, the team wearing white has won 14 of 16, including Pittsburgh and Denver, who opted to wear white despite being designated the home team. San Fran will be wearing white when they take on the red-clad Chiefs, so will that pattern stick or will white prevail? Year 2020 disclaimer, the word white is used in this segment only as a reference to the color of a team's jerseys. Number 8, crowded house. The largest crowd in Super Bowl history came back in 1980? That's right, a gathering of 103,985 packed into the Rose Bowl to see the Steelers beat the LA Rams in Super Bowl 14, the last of 4 Pittsburgh Super Bowl victories that decade. It sounds pretty crazy that a structure built in 1922 would host the most populated game in Super Bowl history, especially when you consider the official maximum capacity is only 92,000. Unfortunately, today they basically have to pay the students to attend UCLA football games, but if they ever want to host another Super Bowl there, all they have to do is destroy about 40,000 of the seats for 8 more luxury boxes and they'll be good to go. Number 7, how the West was lost. Speaking of the Rose Bowl, they weren't supposed to host the Super Bowl in 1993 until Arizona did a racism and voted against recognizing Martin Luther King Day Jr. as a national holiday. Yep, the year that the Bills got their shit pushed in by the Cowboys. Well, the first time it was supposed to happen in Arizona, not in Pasadena. But the great state of Arizona decided that the civil rights movement and a free day off of work were both overrated and said no thanks to an American icon and in turn America's most iconic sporting event. The Arizona State Legislature did eventually pass MLK Day as a holiday in 1989, but it was too late to salvage the Super Bowl in '93, although they were awarded the big game just 2 years later, where, spoiler alert, the Cowboys also won. Number 6, the NoFun League. Cheerleaders are an integral part of football, without which we would not be able to know which team we're supposed to be rooting for. But in Super Bowl 45, we were presented with the only Super Bowl in history not to feature cheerleaders. Neither the Packers nor the Steelers have cheerleaders, which makes sense when you think about it. In Green Bay, it's too cold for human pyramids, and in Pittsburgh, it's a safety violation to have that many women in close proximity to Ben Roethlisberger. Ironically, that game was played in Jerry World, home of the most famous cheerleaders in the world. Number 5, a Big DoOver. It's all about ratings, right? When Super Bowl I between the Chiefs and the Packers was broadcast by NBC, the network had supreme authority over all decisions. They proved that when the Packers kicked off the second half before NBC had come back from a commercial, so they stopped the game and made them kick off again, and the play would be televised. It didn't affect the game. The whistle was blown while the ball was midair, so there was no run back or game-altering turnover that would have swung the first championship in the other direction. Compare that to 33 years later when Fox almost missed a John Elway 80-yard touchdown pass to Rod Smith because they were slow getting out of an Ally McBeal promo. Yeah, you would have missed out on this for Callista Flockhart. The most awkward part was that Super Bowl I was simulcast by both CBS and NBC, so CBS was directing the game and NBC had to simply keep up, which obviously they didn't do. Maybe Max McGee wasn't the only one hungover at that game. Number 4, from job site to spotlight. Imagine working a regular job only to be plucked away to play in the biggest game of the NFL season. That was what happened to Jeff Thomason, a former tight end who played in the league for 10 years before retiring in 2002. Thomason took up construction in his post-playing days until his most recent team, the Eagles, needed a tight end for one game, Super Bowl 39 against the Patriots. Philly's regular blocking tight end, Chad Lewis, had gone down with an injury, so Andy Reid made a visit to the construction site where Thomason was presumably chopping wood with an axe and saying, "I'm too old for this shit," before Reid was able to talk him into one last job. Thomason signed a one-game contract with the Eagles, actually his second Super Bowl he won with the Packers in '96. The old vet got a few plays, and of course, the Patriots defeated the Eagles, but imagine coming back to work on Monday telling the guys what you did that weekend and it not involving your wife letting you do the wheelbarrow. Number 3, shower power. Some people just have to be clean. Russell Wilson is clearly one of those people.
Diarrhea.
Despite being sacked 0 times in the first half of Super Bowl 48, in fact, not even once getting hit in Super Bowl 48, Russell Wilson took advantage of the extended halftime show from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to pop a quick shower in the locker room and get re-suited up for the second half. How many of you think he might have run out of bats while he was in there? I know I would have. Wilson took the field for the last 30 minutes, proceeded to once again not be touched for an entire half of football, and then throw 2 touchdown passes and hoist the Lombardi for the first and only time so far in his career. Here he is on the Dan Patrick Show talking about it and leaving out the part where he likely squeezed one off.
I took all my, the whole uniform off. I took a shower and everything. It happened for about 45 minutes. So I took a shower. I retaped everything, got my arm stretched again, and then we got into a whole nother stretch again. And so that's kind of restarted our minds.
There's no word whether he did the same thing the next year against the Patriots, but I would have to assume the one he took after that involved a lot of crying. Number 2, Mary Tyler Less. We know that when the Steelers played the Vikings in Super Bowl IX, the Steelers claimed victory and the Vikings took one of their 4 Super Bowl L's. But in the Mary Tyler Moore universe, the result was flipped. The classic comedy, which aired directly after the big game, featured a storyline where Moore's hometown Vikings won.
Come on, Pittsburgh! Which one is Pittsburgh?
They're the ones who just congratulated the winners.
She wanted to hedge her bets though, so right before the credits rolled, Moore issued an apology to Steelers fans in case they won. They did, of course, behind a terrific performance from Franco Harris. But is it possible that the Mary Tyler Moore curse still haunts the Vikings to this day? And finally, number 1, the presidential pass. Perhaps the most famous man to call a play in Super Bowl history is none other than Richard Milhouse Nixon, aka Tricky Dick. In Super Bowl VI, the sitting president made a call to Don Shula, the coach of the Miami Dolphins, ahead of his matchup with the Dallas Cowboys. Nixon said to Shula,
"I think you can hit Paul Warfield on that down and down pattern."
Not exactly the Philly special in terms of play design, but the Finns ran the down and into Warfield on the 8th play of the game. And Mel Renfro swatted the ball down so hard that Nixon was forced to resign. This moment would later be dubbed Playgate. The Super Bowl is the most memorable game of the year, but as we know, memory fades. But some of these facts should never be forgotten. From construction site sightings to speculated halftime JO sessions, the Super Bowl can get real weird. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to check out our sponsor, HelloFresh, from the link below and use my code 5points10 and get 10 free meals and free shipping. I'm 5 Points Vids and you made it to my next video.